Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Text from the Moon Rocks, my favorite new band of 2024. And also Tony and Cicero checked in and said, I agree with you, Brian. They're one of my favorite bands, too. And they opened up Q101's Twisted Christmas Night 2, which was the festival basically setting with the Maine and Andrew McMahon and All American Rejects. So thank you, Tony from Cicero, and everybody from Cicero that supports that band. That's what took them to number one this year. They're actually at a number one spot with that song. But let's move forward now. It's time for Case's movie reviews. It's Christmas season, and he's never seen Home Alone. So now he's going to break down Home Alone. But we start, as we always do, with the trailer for the movie going back. What year is Home Alone? Is it 1990?
1990.
1990.
So do that math, because I can't.
34 years.
Well done. Put it on the board.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Oh, man.
You could have said anything. I would be like, yup.
So here we go. This was the commercial, the trailer, if you will, for Home Alone back in 1990.
In their rush to the airport, the McAllisters overlooked one minor detail. Now, his parents have a problem.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my son.
Two burglars are in trouble.
We know that you're in there.
And Kevin is in heaven. Home Alone. Rated PG.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So that was the trailer. We had a little weird hiccup with that audio. So hopefully that all played over the air.
Hopefully so.
So we couldn't hear it in our headphones, just so you know. If you were hearing something, hopefully you heard it. That was the commercial for Home Alone. Okay, now, Case. Home Alone, one of the greatest Chicago movies, one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. Someone put it at the top of the list. Home Alone. What is your review of it? What's your take?
I got more DMs last night when I posted on Instagram that I had watched this movie for the first time. More DMs than ever before of people not believing that I had never seen this movie before.
Yeah.
People stun a big part of their childhood. They love this movie. Everything, is so great and grand about it. And let me tell you, after watching Home Alone, I don't feel like I was missing anything. This is not a movie that I found to be, I would say, particularly enjoyable, but you know what? I didn't find it enjoyable at all.
Okay, now this...
You didn't laugh?
Also, there's a lot of fun in the movie and also a lot of heart. And so I don't know how much of a heart you have if you didn't like this movie. We're not judging because this is the 25-year-old lens of an older movie. That's why we do this. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't judge. Just go ahead with what you think about Home Alone.
If I was going to build a Mount Rushmore of annoying children in movies, I would have Kevin's face on Mount Rushmore 4 times.
Good.
I would just chisel his face into granite over and over and over again.
Is this because you've been up for 4 days with Twisted?
No.
You seem
Here's
grumpy.
why, Brian, I'm glad you asked. It has nothing to do with me. I've compiled a list of things Kevin did that means that he deserves to be left at home during their family's Paris vacation. In the first 20 minutes of the movie, Kevin lays on his mom's suitcase while she's trying to pack. He tackles the big kid with the pizza, thus spilling the milk all over the passports. He then talks back to his mom like he didn't just do all of that. And then, as the entire family oversleeps for their international flight, which they somehow made, only leaving their house a half hour before the flight, he doesn't hear any of this commotion and oversleeps past the oversleepers. At that point, I'm sorry, you deserve to be left at home. This family should have
But he wasn't amongst everybody. He was way upstairs.
He was on the 3rd floor. You know what, Kenzie? That house wasn't that big. He probably should have heard some of that.
I've actually driven by the house. It's up in Winnetka. It's big. It's a big house.
It's a big house.
It's a pretty big house.
All I'm saying is you can't hear, there's people running around, there's 20 different people in the house, the whole big thing. If you can't hear any of that, you don't deserve to go to Paris. What do you think?
Wow.
What do you think? He's a heavy sleeper? He's 8 years old.
Yes. Okay, this is just, I have to be honest, the first wave is just some kiddish. Like, that's just what it's like. They do lay in your suitcase. They do only want cheese pizza. They do spill stuff. He's just being a kid, man.
All right. Well, later in the movie, he does this. Kenzie, you tell me if these are just kid things. He doesn't look both ways when he crosses the street, which causes Joe Pesci to nearly run over him with his van. He, in the church, and this is in the house of God, mind you, when the old man walks up to him, pours out his heart and starts talking about how he's afraid, Kevin says, and I quote, "Aren't you a little old to be afraid?" Which is the rudest thing I have ever heard. He's also a crook. He stole a toothbrush. He's a criminal as far as I'm concerned.
He
and I
was
am not
scared.
I am not somebody that stands for criminality. Kevin, I don't remember his last name. What's it, McAllister?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the deli.
Oh, I love McAllister's Deli.
Me too.
Best
the
baked
loaded
potatoes.
potatoes.
Oh, my God.
Does this ruin McAllister's Deli for you?
No. Kevin ruined my day yesterday, but McAllister's Deli is fine, though.
Iconic.
Okay, but all the tomfoolery between Joe Pesci and the other actor, I can't remember his name, when he...
Yeah, I don't know the other guy.
That wasn't fun for you?
Oh my God, we're the Wet Bandits. Like, he's hilarious.
Oh, Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern was the other guy, other robber.
Here's what I liked in this movie. I thought John Candy hit it out of the park in the few scenes that he was in.
Stole the movie, some people would say.
Loved him. The bit that I really liked, I have some issues with Joe Pesci in the way that he robbed this house, but the bit I did like was when there was a spider on his chest and his partner hit him with a crowbar and missed the spider. That was fun. Here's the problem, though. Here's my issue with the crooks in this movie. And this is going to sound odd because they were robbing a child's home.
Yes.
They either needed to be way more aggressive or they needed to pick a different house. Either go like balls of fury, we're taking prisoners, no questions asked, or leave and find somebody that didn't put ice on the stair steps and light your hair on fire.
They did go balls out. They just lost. They had like 8 paint cans to the face. It was hilarious. Every time they stood up and it hit their face.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. He's like, Marv, and he's got the
They also knew it was an easy target, so they failed, and they go, well, we've got to still get this. We can beat this kid. That's the energy of it.
So there's a sequel to this movie, right?
The only one worth watching is the next one. Home Alone Lost in New York, funny. The rest is a completely different cast.
Okay,
all the other 18.
But Joe Pesci and the other guy, they're in Home Alone too, right?
Yes, and it's hilarious.
Yes, it is.
Shouldn't they have been locked in prison for life? How did they get out?
They broke out.
Did they really?
Yes.
Asked and answered. All right, I'll
They
take that off the
broke out
list
of
of my
prison.
complaints. There you go.
And they become the sticky bandits instead of the wet bandits.
Well, that's
it's
fun.
a whole plot twist. It's hilarious.
So
because his hand keeps getting stuck to stuff. You gotta watch it.
So you did or did not enjoy all of Kevin with the burglars? That's the funniest thing in movie history, almost, of all the stuff he did.
No, it's not.
It's some of the best stunts ever done.
I couldn't breathe when he comes through the window and he looks around and is like, haha, and shoves his feet onto the order. It's the hardest anyone's ever put their feet on the ground in history. I couldn't breathe.
Can't breathe now.
No one's ever put their feet down so hard. Ever. He's like so happy.
I wish I would have watched Home Alone with Kenzie's director commentary.
Oh my
I think
God.
that would have been much more enjoyable.
You know, shockingly, there's people that are agreeing with you.
I'm a man of correct opinion.
815 says, I love Home Alone, but Case isn't wrong. Kevin sucks.
Kevin sucks. I'm glad that verbiage was used. Kevin sucks. Yet I'm supposed to believe he's a master puppeteer who conjured up an act in his living room that fooled Joe Pesci into thinking that they were having a Christmas party at his house. I don't buy it.
Also, opposite opinions, like from Maddie saying, so who's going to protect Case from the mob? When he tries to leave NBC Tower today, the mob that protects Home Alone and cherishes the Chicago treasure, and John Hughes, legend and treasure of Chicago as well. So I guess we can get right to it. It sounds like you're not going to give this a pretty good rating. What are you going to give? What are you going to give this on?
Can I give it plane tickets? Is that what's the good Home Alone rating?
I guess, sure.
This is a 4 out of 10 plane tickets movie.
Wow.
Kevin sucks, man. This is not a
He's
kid I want to be
8.
around. Yeah,
He
not
is
a
8.
fan. That's a pretty rough 8 years on Earth.
Ugh.
Did Macaulay Culkin get famous because of this?
Well,
He was
yes.
like the kid in movies. He was in a bunch.
This launched him. I mean, that movie made like $500 million or something.
Did it really?
It was monstrous. Let me get an accurate number on that before we move on. 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, which is, I thought it'd be higher. And Home Alone cleared.
Because he was also in Uncle Buck. He was hilarious in Uncle Buck, which I think is even older.
Home Alone cleared $476 million.
Which in the 90s, that was like
Oh.
$7 trillion today.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, before we move forward, I had no idea this was going to turn into this, of so much controversy with Case's movie review of Home Alone. He'd never seen it. If you're new to the show, he's 25 years old, and we've been having him watch movies that he'd never seen because he never watched movies. And a lot of people, this has divided our audience. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be all that you're a jerk if you don't like this movie. Home Alone is glorious, heartwarming, and fun. That's what I think. But a lot of people checked in, and the anger side of it comes from Chris in Lombard. First-time texter, by the way. Welcome to the party. Case needs to chill the F out. You shouldn't be able to grade movies till you've watched at least 20 movies. Well, he has seen 20.
I've seen 30 actually.
Yeah. So he has
What
seen
is
30
counting?
movies.
I keep a list. It wasn't a movie that grabbed me. I don't know. Kevin was so distractingly awful. Can I mention one other scene that I had an issue with before we go back to the text line?
Sure.
Imagine one that could you just talk about one you liked?
I'm going to mention a scene that I had a problem with, though.
Of course you are.
Thank you for the suggestion, Kenzie.
Yeah. Noted and discarded your
Yes,
suggestion.
Right, cool.
Shocking.
Moving on. So the family is on the plane to Paris.
Yeah.
And they realize they forgot their annoying kid at home. So when they land in Paris, they get off the plane and they run to a payphone. They run to a payphone that is being used by a French woman, and they shove her away, hang up her call, and then call, again, the annoying kid they left at home. That is the rudest thing I have ever seen anybody do ever in the history of humanity.
That's a pretty big statement. There's a lot of rude stuff.
Just history pretty rude when you think about it.
Well,
but-
some woman just got pushed off the phone. I don't know about that.
I distinctly remember them going, we're so sorry, it's a huge emergency. I mean, they did say that.
Yeah, but they still pushed her.
But they apologize.
Was it like
I
hard?
don't know if that makes it better.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.